Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here for the 4th round of the GT3 Championship here on a Sunday night on ACC for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 platforms coming up later on. We're at Zolder for the PlayStation 4 right now. We've got 13 cars out on the track. We're expecting, I think, 16 drivers to turn up tonight. Today was a perfect storm for people not coming up, not turning up today. It's been an absolute nightmare. Easter Sunday, I know the numbers are always going to be a little bit hit and miss, but yeah, unfortunately I think we're expecting a grid of 15, 16 max here. Hopefully we do get the extra couple of drivers in, but everybody's either ill with their family or being sick somewhere. So we wish everybody else who's not here the very best, but here are the 13 legends who have turned up here for tonight. MTL Bloodshot currently leading the way here on a 1:29.6. He's got 0.3 of a second at the moment over PS Fids in second place. Not too much of a gap between the top two in that leaderboard. Rapid Duck very close to the back of PS Fids, only a 1/10 of a second between those two. In second and third places, Candiz showing some good pace here in 4th place at the moment in this session in the number 86 AMG. Racing as a late stand-in reserve tonight is Candiz. Reco Vantage in 5th place, half a second off for the fastest time, being set by MTL Bloodshot. You got Slow Wolf just moving slightly order there into 3rd place, so he's gained a few positions on that previous lap of his in the number 43 Bentley. We've got Rocco sat in 7th place, but he goes P2 there with that lap, so Rocco moving himself way up the order there. What a great lap from last season's runner-up in the championship. Nilsson coming over the line, doesn't improve, stays in 8th place. You've got SMT Zolder in 9th. Followed by Orange Rally in P10. Apollo Aston sat in 11th place in the qualifying session. Edith Allcom in 12th and Khan Mete in P13. We are currently just waiting on Dracula, Cheyenne Speed, and Reco Vantage is here. Reco Vantage is here, sorry, so he has joined. So yeah, it's just Dracula and Cheyenne Speed. Video game has told us he's had to make his apology. He's not going to be here tonight. So that's obviously a massive shame there. But yeah, pretty much a disaster in terms of people who couldn't be here tonight, people who were, you know, whose dogs were sick, whose mums were sick, who's, you know, burned to dinner or had to go out and pick something up. I don't know. Everyone seems to be ill today, but Candiz currently top of the leaderboard. He's got a 0.2 of a second gap here over MTL Bloodshot at the top of that leaderboard. So Candiz is now thrown down the gauntlet and is setting at the pace here towards the end of this qualifying session here at Zolder for the GT3s at Motive. Oh, as Candiz wallops the curb there and into the wall he goes, coming through the chicane. It's a tricky chicane to get right, really pushing the limits there. Candiz trying to shave off as much time as he could and ends up in the barriers there. MTL Bloodshot still out there, Rocco in 3rd, but Candiz has really set a very difficult lap time there for any of these drivers to really eclipse. We're watching PS Vids right now coming through the final part of the lap as he brings it through the penultimate corner, sliding around there as he wants to stay off of that curb. You want to just avoid getting too much contact with that. Here we come down towards the final corner here for PS Vids. Rapid Ducks go up into 3rd place within 0.3 of a second of the fastest time being set by Candiz. Here's PS Vids out of the last corner. Can he trouble the top 4 here? Here he comes up towards the line. What is it going to be for PS Vids? He stays in P5, doesn't improve. Reco Vantage is out there, as is Nilsson, so is SMT Zolder. Orange Rally coming up towards the line. Can he improve? He doesn't, stays in P10. We'll get another lap in though. Apollo Aston coming down that little back straight towards the first chicane. You've got Edith Allcom just behind him. Khan Mete's coming out of the final corner up towards the line. What can Khan Mete put on the board here? MTL Bloodshot improves by about a 0.5 and gets within 0.2 of a second of the pole time, but still can't go on pole. Khan Mete didn't set a lap, so that was an invalid lap time there for Khan Mete. The time's coming in thick and fast. Every driver seems to be out there doing something, but yeah, at this point we're just waiting on Dracula and Cheyenne Speed to get themselves in the lobby, and hopefully they're able to do so as soon as possible as the clock is ticking and we are very nearly ready to go racing here at Zolder. So fingers crossed they get that sorted out and get themselves in the lobby ASAP. Game for Life says hello in the comments. Game for Life, what are you doing in the comments? Why aren't you racing? No, good to see Game for Life in the comments. I don't know what the reason was why Game for Life couldn't race here tonight, but probably should be a reserve, to be fair. No offence to you, mate, but yeah, good to see you in the comments nonetheless. We got Carl Matthew coming through the middle sector at the moment. Cam Diz, MTL Bloodshot, Rapid Duck still your top 3. Rapid Duck in the pits. Rocco's coming through the first sector. Potentially might be able to do a pole up here. We've got MTL Bloodshot coming through the final few corners here. Currently P2, provisionally on the front row of the grid. Can he find a couple of tenths that he needs to go on to pole? MTL Bloodshot's had some good races so far this season. He's up there in the standings. Here he comes a little bit deep into the first part of the chicane. That would have compromised the second part as he gets out onto the power here out of the last corner. He's backed out of it, I think. MTL Bloodshot's not going to go quicker here. That's going to be his session done. Rocco's still out there. SMT Zolder coming up towards the line. Apollo Aston is done for the session by the looks of it. So it's just SMT Zolder and Rocco left on flying laps here. As we can see, SMT Zolder coming up towards the line. Currently P8 in this session. Can he improve? He does in P7s there, so gains a couple of tenths. Moves ahead of Recco Vantage. What about Rocco? Rocco has got just this final chicane left to go. Last season's runner-up in the championship, a high flyer in this season's proceedings. Here he comes in towards the final chicane. A little bit wide on the entry, not quite tagging that white line on the right hand side. Gets the first part of the chicane very nicely and a beautiful exit out of second. Oh, he lost it. Oh, he got a little bit wide onto the grass there, and that's Rocco into the barriers, and that is going to be his session done. And Rocco's not going to qualify any higher than P4 there, so what a shame for Rocco at the very, very end of the session. It's going to be Cam Diz on pole position ahead of MTL Bloodshot. Rapid Duck will line up on the second row with Rocco alongside him. Peter Svids in 5th, followed by Slow Wolf 6th. Then it's going to be SMT Zolder in 7th place, Recco 8th, followed by Nilsson in 9th, Orange Rally in P10, Carl Mette in 11th, followed by Apollo Aston in 12th. Edie Zolcom will line up in P13. We're expecting Cheyenne Speed to jump in between now and start of the race, so fingers crossed we see Cheyenne Speed getting himself in the session, and we can have at least a 14 car grid potentially. Dracula might get himself in as well, and we could have a 15 car grid, but nonetheless we're getting ready to go racing here at Zolder for round 4 of the GT3 Championship here on ACC, and an interesting qualifying session there. Then surprising to see Recco Vantage down as low as he is, but yeah, it's going to be a good race here for sure. check, 1, 2, 3. There we go, guys. There's the championship standings coming into this round. Rocco leads the way on 156 points, 2 points clear of Lutch on 154. Jamie Sealer in third place on 131 points. Orange Rally fourth. Khan Mete fifth. That's the state of play at the moment. Rocco starting a little way down the order though. In this one, he'll be having to do this one. He's actually in third place, so he's not too far down. But here we are anyway. We're lights out and away we go here at Zolder. And into turn one we come. Camdiz holds on to his lead there. MTL Bloodshot and Rocco there in 2 and 3, followed by PS4, who's facing heavy pressure from Slow Wolf. Slow Wolf looking to the inside here, coming in towards turn 3, but can't quite make anything happen just there. In the background of this, you've got SMTs all over. Reco Vantage has gone off. He's had a horrible show at the start of this race. He's down to the last place here in this one. Reco Vantage has had a big moment. Who's been caught up with him? I don't think anybody's been caught up with him. I think he's had a moment by himself, as Orange Rally is now looking to make some moves here on this first up of the race. He's looking on the back of Apollo. Camdiz leads the race anyway. He's out in front at the moment. Reco Vantage though well off at the back of MTL Bloodshot, now dropping off at the back of Camdiz, a little bit in towards the second chicane for the first time. Rocco is actually pretty close on the back of MTL Bloodshot. You got Slow Wolf, PS Fids down to 5th place, has lost a couple of positions. There's SMTs all over. Nilsson followed by Easy Edis Allcom, Apollo Aston. There's Orange Rally just ahead of Khan Mete, ahead of Rapid Duck, who's a few seconds off, and Reco Vantage there, having at that moment, is down to the back as PS Fids is dropping down the field like a stone here. Where has he dropped down to? He's down to 9th place here. So PS Fids could not have gone really much worse for him at the start of this race. Camdiz leads us coming down towards the final chicane. He's got a couple of seconds of a gap back to MTL Bloodshot. There's Rocco ahead of Slow Wolf. SMTs all over running in 5th place. There's Nilsson, Edis Allcom, Apollo Aston there in 8th place ahead of Orange Rally. Khan Mete, PS Fids, Rapid Duck and Reco Vantage rounding out the pack at the moment. Down the start finish straight we come to complete the first lap. Camdiz has already opened up a clear lead here. He's clearly got the pace over the rest of them right now. He seems to have a bit of an advantage. Rocco's still on the back of MTL. There's Slow Wolf, SMTs all over. Nilsson, Edis Allcom. There's Apollo Aston running in 8th place ahead of Orange Rally. Khan Mete in the final top 10 spot has got a bit of a gap back to PS Fids, who's really struggling at the start of this race. So PS Fids has had a nightmare of an opening lap to this race. Rapid Duck ahead of Echo Advantage, who's now trying to reel in the back markers here in this race. But Camdiz has absolutely shot out of the blocks here at the beginning of this race. MTL Bloodshot's gained 3 tenths coming to the first sector on this second lap, but Camdiz so far is looking very, very strong out of the gates here. Red Rocco trying to keep onto the back of MTL Bloodshot, looking down the order. Apollo Aston's made a mistake. Oh, he's round, and he's I'll tell you what, Rapid Duck there did a fantastic job of not going into the back of Apollo Aston there. That evasive action there, or was it Reco Vantage even? It might have been Reco Vantage actually. It was Reco Vantage who made that incredible save there to avoid going into him. And hats off to Reco Vantage because that was close. But looking through the pack, PS Fids is trying to close onto the back of Khan Mete. SMTs all over is putting a little bit of pressure on Slow Wolf at the moment, but Camdiz starting to break away a little bit. He's got about a second and a half back to MTL Bloodshot at the moment. And MTL Bloodshot, I believe, is Lutch on the... I'll just confirm this because I should really know this to be fair, but I believe his name's Lutch on this thing. Yeah, it is. So Rocco and MTL Bloodshot, 2 points separating them coming into this round as it stands. In this one, MTL Bloodshot would take the championship lead if he were to keep track position here on Rocco. He's got a couple of seconds back to him. These two championship contenders running in second and third at the moment, but as it stands, MTL Bloodshot would take the championship lead off of Rocco. Jay Palotto unfortunately not here this week, couldn't make it for whatever reason. He did actually inform us that he couldn't make it, so fair play to him for that, but he'll obviously lose points to these two, and these two, Rocco and MTL Bloodshot, now looking like at this point in the season, it's looking like these two are probably the sole championship contenders, but MTL Bloodshot at the moment has got a slum. And Camdiz! The race leader's lost it! The race leader has dropped it coming out of the first chicane. That's going to move MTL Bloodshot up into the lead of the race, and Rocco will be coming up on the scene as well. Rocco's going to look to make the move here, and he's done the move there on Camdiz, so Camdiz dropped down to 3rd place here. Rocco up into 2nd, and the two championship contenders now 1 and 2, and Camdiz having a massive moment there coming through the first chicane. Slow Wolf in the back. This loses the car. No, he almost goes into the wall there. Slow Wolf there onto the grass, and SMT's a little bit too far back to make anything happen and get onto the back of him there, but MTL Bloodshot and Rocco now 1 and 2, and Camdiz showing he's human after all, having made an incredible start to this race. Camdiz, I remember back in the GT4s, the last race of the season at Alton Park a few seasons ago, he absolutely blew everybody away. Was about half a lap ahead of 2nd place. Camden's a very talented driver, but he's got a mistake in him, as we've just seen there, and just a small mistake is all it took, and now he's down to P3. MTL leads the race by 2.8 seconds here ahead of Rocco, and Camden's now trying to get back up onto Rocco here for second place. Rocco wide into turn 1, gets away with it. Slow Wolf SMT to over, currently batting out over 4th and 5th places. Nilsson trying to get himself into this battle here. Bit of a gap back to Edis and Orange Rally. You've got Khan Mete and PS Fitz all close in contention here. So Edis, Orange Rally, Khan Mete and PS Fitz all very close. All PS Fitz wide there coming out of the last. First corner, oh, Rapid Ducks onto the gravel. What's going on? Why has he stopped the car? What's he stopped for? What's he doing? Rapid Ducks just stopped the car on the exit of turn 1. I don't know what's happened there to him. He's just left the server. Out of nowhere, he's just left the server, so I don't know what's going on there with him. Wow, that's a bit bizarre. Rapid Duck just pulled off to the side and retired the car. Oh my god. In the meantime, Camden's on the back of Rocco here. These two separated by 3/10, battling over second and third places. SMT's all over, still trying to get onto Slow Wolf, but Slow Wolf pulled that gap a little bit. Slow Wolf now seems to have a little bit of pace over SMT's all over. 4 seconds back to Edis Allcom. You've got Orange Rally, Khan Mete still pretty close. These two separated by 6/10, and PS Fitz waiting in the wings after his terrible start to the race. He dropped from 3rd down to P11 at the end of the first lap. He's now into 10th, but he's got a lot of work to do here. Reco Vantage after his first lap spin down in 11th place has got ahead of Apollo Aston there, but still a lot of work to do, as we said before. Same with PS Fitz. Rocco though looking to try and defend here from Camdis. Camdis is going to try and go around the outside of turn 1. Rocco's going to park his car on the inside. That Lexus is going to have the straight line speed to Merc. Those absolutely breezes around the outside of turn 1, and Camdis up into second place, making that look relatively easy there. But these two have both gained a little bit on MTL Bloodshot. The gap was 2.8 between MTL and Rocco. It's now 1.9, so both Rocco and Cam are closing a little bit on MTL on that previous lap, maybe a little bit quicker. MTL Bloodshot possibly resting on his laurels a little bit now that he's got that gap out the front, but he's going to have Cam Diz chasing after him pretty soon. But we know that Cam has got a mistake in him, but I reckon these three, very much all of these three, in contention for a win here in this race. Oh, Rocco, he's not going to be in contention for a win if he keeps doing that, I tell you. Slow Wolf doing the same thing in the background as SMT's all over, starting to gap Nilsson a bit, but wow, yeah, you don't want to be doing that, because that's going to give you suspension damage. You've got Orange Rally, you've got Edis, Orange Rally and Khan Mete coming through your shot there. PS Fitz wide there, coming out of the first chicane, ever so wide onto the gravel. Not what he wants to be doing at all. Reco Vantage in 11th place, still trying to chase these guys down. It's going to be a long afternoon for him though. But MTL Bloodshot has got a 2.4 second gap over Cam Diz. Rocco in third ahead of Slow Wolf. SMT's all over. Nilsson there coming through your shot. The top six have broken away a little bit from the rest of them. You've got Khan Mete's got ahead of Orange Rally up into 8th place. Edis in the foreground, Khan Mete, Orange Rally, PS Fitz there coming around your shot in P10. Reco Vantage there just coming through now in 11th spot, and a bit of a gap back to Apollo Aston, who seems to have had a bit of a mare on this lap. Haven't seen what's happened to him, but he's still in a good position right now. He's going to get some good points here on this Easter Sunday with a lot of drivers missing tonight. It's still not all doom and gloom there for him. He can still do some damage from there, we know that for sure. But MTL, 2 seconds of a gap. Camdis is bringing that gap down. He gained 4/10 on the previous lap, so Camdis with some pretty strong momentum at this point in the race. Have to keep an eye on Cam Diz and see how he gets on over the course of this one, but he's definitely bringing that gap down to MTL. Racing as a reserve tonight. Wasn't supposed to be racing in this series, but he asked us earlier on if there was any races on this afternoon, and we told him yes, there is. In fact, there is the PS4 GT3 Championship, as always, on a Sunday night here at Motive, and right now he is charging after the man currently second in the championship, MTL Bloodshot. As it stands in this race, MTL Bloodshot would take the championship lead. He would gain 10 points on his championship rival Rocco, who currently leads coming into this one by 2 points. So MTL would come away from Zolder with an 8-point lead in the championship as it stands. However, if Cam Diz were to take the win, it would be a 3-point lead instead of an 8-point lead. So Cam Diz, or Rocco, will definitely be sat there hoping that Cam Diz can reel him in if possible. Slow Wolf, Zolder and Nilsson coming through your shot there in 4th, 5th and 6th places. You've got Edis Allcom still running in 7th place. Has got a couple of seconds back to Khan Mete. In fact, no, he hasn't. That's a massive lie, because PS Vids is now in between Edis and Khan Mete. So Khan Mete's made a mistake. PS Vids now up into 8th place. Reco still going. Orange Rally though has had a horror show on that lap. He has had some kind of mistake. He's down to 11th place. So he's now behind Reco Vantage and Khan Mete. So something has gone catastrophically wrong there for him. Camdiz gained another 10th on that lap, but he's not really gaining by as much as he was. The gap's just kind of staying around the same between MTL Bloodshot and Camdiz, and Rocco's now starting to find a bit of pace. He's not lost as much time to Camdiz on that lap as before, so he's starting to get it together a little bit. SMT Zolder still within a second of Slow Wolf, but these two currently still running pretty close within each other at this point. Nielsen 3 seconds off at the back of SMT Zolder. Edie's Allcom a further 7 seconds back ahead of PS Fids, who's running in 8th place, but looks like they're all pretty strung out right now. Not really too much going on here, as we're 10 minutes into round 4 for the GT3 Championship here at Motive on the PS4. So the news currently is that the championship leader is running in 3rd place. His championship rival, who comes into this 2 points behind him, is leading the race. And we've lost a driver. Somebody has bailed out of the race here. That is Apollo Aston. Apollo Aston's out of the race. He's retired the car, so he's done for this session. What a shame there for Apollo Aston to lose him at this stage in the session. MTL still leads by 1.4 ahead of Camdiz at the moment then, but we've lost Apollo Aston here just over 10 minutes into this race. But right now Camdiz really bringing the gap down to MTL Bloodshot. Just keeping an eye on the gaps here as they're coming over the line to complete lap 7 of the race. Still 1.4, hasn't come down anymore. Rocco's keeping the gap at around the same to MTL. So in fact, Camdiz and Rocco both gaining on MTL Bloodshot at this point. Is MTL Bloodshot just taking it easy, just keeping it calm, knowing that he's got this race in the bag as long as he doesn't make any mistakes? That is a possibility at this point. Who knows what the plan is here? Raven Meister in the comments. What's up? Hello, Ravi. Welcome along. Welcome back to the channel. Used to be commentator here, did Ravi, a few seasons back. Now, wait, it must have been about 2 or 3 years ago now. Ravi used to commentate for us on Project Cars 2. It's a long time ago since we've seen him on the channel, so we can see the leaders just coming around to. In fact, MTL Bloodshot has made a mistake, and Camdiz looking around the outside. MTL were horribly wide there through the first chicane, the same place where Camdiz made a mistake before, and that is now MTL Bloodshot losing the lead of the race. So Camdiz up into P1. Rocco's pretty close to these guys as well. Rocco, oh my goodness me, just waxed the curb there coming out of the second chicane, and that's probably just ruined his chances of really capitalising on these two possible woes here. But Camdiz now in the lead ahead of MTL Bloodshot, and Rocco in 3rd place. So we've seen Camdiz and MTL make a mistake. We've seen Rocco make a couple of slip-ups here. So the top 3 all human here, very much in a position where they could potentially make more mistakes. Slow Wolf ahead of Zolder running in 5th place. Nielsen there a little way off in 6th. Edis Allcom and PS Fids pretty close here in 7th and 8th places right now. Reco Vantage has got Khan Mete all over the back of him here, coming up towards the penultimate corner. Khan Mete having a little look, trying to distract Reco Vantage in the mirrors if he can. 4.5 seconds back to Orange Rally, running in 11th place at the moment. But MTL Bloodshot is absolutely hassling the back here of Camdiz as we're on lap 9 here of this race. Still the relatively early stages for round 4 of the GT3s here at Motive on ACC here on the PS4. But right now it's Camdiz who's got the lead, having chased down MTL Bloodshot, having managed to wrestle the lead off of him due to MTL's mistake coming up to this very corner that they're coming up to on the previous lap. And Camdiz now with control. These two have gapped Rocco a little bit. Rocco possibly has made a mistake here or two, because he's now 3.5 seconds behind. Zolder's within a second of Slow Wolf. These two still pretty close at this point, as we just see Slow Wolf just wallop in the curb a little bit there on the second part of the first chicane, and it's an easy one to make a mistake on. We've seen a lot of drivers doing that. You don't want to be doing it too much. The suspension will be crying out by the end of it if you keep doing that. But yeah, we just see there a little bit of push there, or a little bit of take there from most of these drivers here tonight. As we can see, MTL Bloodshot within 0.8 of a second of the race leader Camdiz. As the cameras are absolutely, they're atrocious, I've got to say, on ACC. I mean, spectator mode is obviously better than it is on PS5, because on PS5 you can only go on board, but yeah, for sure it's not the best. PS Fids within 0.7 of a second of Edis Allcom right now. These two running in 7th and 8th places. There's Reco Vantage, who seems to have picked off Khan Mete up into 9th place. You've got Orange Rally a little way behind in P11 at this point. Depleted field for tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't have a full grid here for this one. We had a few people missing due to the fact that it's Easter Sunday and not everybody could make it. So, you know, understandable, but frustrating nonetheless for the guys who did turn up. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Some people have arrangements, some people have plans, some people have are occupied on days like this. So, you know, you've got to just understand that and maybe be aware of it next time. But Nonetheless, half a second with separating these two, Camdiz and MTL Bloodshot coming into the first chicane for the 10th time in this race. 4 seconds now back to Rocco, who seems to be dropping off at them quite a bit. Zolder within a second of Slow Wolf at this point, and then a bit of a gap back to Nielsen running in P6. He's all come with 7 seconds off at the back of Nielsen. He's got PS Vids currently in the back of him, 6/10 between these two as they're coming down this little straight down towards the first chicane. Reco Vantage has gapped Carl Mete by a couple of seconds since getting ahead of them a couple of laps ago, and Orange Rally within 5 seconds of Carl Mete now as well, so making gains, chasing him down is Orange Rally, hoping to get himself into the top 10 if he can. SMT Zaloba still has in the back of Slow Wolf at the moment. MTL Bloodshot's lost a bit of time to Camdiz. Camdiz has now got almost a second of a gap to him coming down towards the final chicane here as we're about to complete lap 10 of the race. Zaloba still on the back of Slow Wolf, still looking for a way through. PS Vids within half a second of Edis Allcom at this point. Looking back down the order, it's Orange Rally's now got the gap down to 4 seconds to Carl Mete, but Reco Vantage is pulling away from Carl Mete, so that one seems to be done. PS Vids still looking to try and get himself onto the back of Edis Allcom if he can. MTL Bloodshot 9/10 is his gap currently to Camdiz, who's at the front of the pack at the moment, and Camdiz looking like he's in cruise control, looking like he's got the pace here a little bit over MTL Bloodshot. Consistency wise, I think Camdiz is just that little bit slightly ahead of MTL Bloodshot over the course of this race so far. We've seen both of them make mistakes, we've seen both of them have slips, but so far it's looking like Camdiz has just got that slight upper hand over MTL. Could be down to the fuel. Maybe once the fuel lightens we could be seeing a shift. We could be seeing the pendulum swing ever so slightly, but right now Camdiz got to be my favourite for this win. I think he's got the ascendancy. He seems to just have that little bit extra around Zolder here tonight, but do not count out MTL Bloodshot. As it stands in this race so far, MTL Bloodshot will take the championship lead off of Rocco, with MTL running in second and Rocco third. Yeah, 5-point swing in favour of MTL Bloodshot. He's 3 points behind in the championship, so it would be P1 in the championship for MTL Bloodshot going into the final 2 rounds of the season. This one obviously round 4 of 6 for the GT3s here at Motive. Looking back down the order, Edis Allcom's got a 1.4 second gap over PS Vids at this point. Reco Vantage has got 3 seconds back to Carl Mete. Orange Rally dropping off the back of Carl Mete. That gap's now 5 seconds, so that is going up as we speak. But Camdiz coming through the final chicane has got just under 2 seconds at the moment to MTL Bloodshot. Noticing on that last lap there, Camdiz was significantly faster than MTL Bloodshot. I don't know if MTL Bloodshot made a mistake. It looks like that gap's actually come down a little bit since then though, because that doesn't look like 2.5 seconds to me. It looks like a little bit less than that, yeah. So MTL Bloodshot did gain half a second coming to that first sector there, just as we were onto that one. So maybe MTL made a mistake on the previous lap, and Camdiz possibly made a bit of an error coming through the first sector there, because the gap went up and then down. But it's just ebbing and flowing between these top two at the moment. At this stage they seem to have a match for each other's pace. Slow Wolf there running in 4th place, only 2 seconds behind Rocco. He's managed to gap SMT Zaloba, and Nielsen's looking to get the move done on SMT Zaloba here. They're side by side. Looks like SMT Zaloba might have made a mistake. They come into the first sector. Nielsen swoops through up into 5th place. SMT Zaloba powerless to do anything about it, and Nielsen a bit deep into the first part of the chicane though. He gets it done though. Nielsen, beautiful move there up into 5th place, and SMT Zaloba powerless to do anything about that one. Looking back down the order, Easy's Allcom running in 7th place. Has got PS Vids really hassling him here. PS Vids obviously had a bit of a shaky start to this race, was qualified up high in P3, and then the first lap found himself down in 11th place, had all sorts of problems at the start, but he is currently trying to get himself back into this fight here with Edis Allcom coming down towards the final corner. But at the moment Edis Allcom has still got that upper hand here, although having said that, Edis a little bit hesitant there coming through the final chicane. PS Vids might be able to try and get a run here. He's going to have an opportunity for sure coming down the start-finish straight. He's going to pull out the slipstream now. PS Vids looks to the inside. Edis Allcom leaves the door open. PS Vids is going to send one down the inside into turn 1. Does he get his braking point right? I think that Edis is going to get a cut back here on him, and it's going to be side by side into turn 2. Edis Allcom with a great little switch back there, but PS Vids goes deep on the brakes there. He's going to have to get that position back. Edis Allcom there continues on his way, and PS Vids does succeed that one. In fact, Reco Vantage comes through up into 8th place, so PS Vids losing out majorly there, and Reco Vantage into 8th place, but PS Vids just went a little bit done there on the brakes there, was all or nothing, thought, well, if I'm not going to keep this position, then, you know, no one is. But PS Vids there, losing a couple of places. It is Allcom has got that done up into P7 there then. Well, we already have P7, but that pressure from PS Vids is now over. In the meantime, the gap at the front is staying around the same. It's gone up a little bit. Camden's continuing to just gradually increase his gap at the front. 2.7 now between Camden's and MTL Bloodshot. MTL's got 4 seconds back to Rocco. They're running in third place. Rocco's managed to gap Slow Wolf a little bit over the last couple of the laps. It was 2 seconds. It's now 2.4. So Rocco has had a little bit of pace over Slow Wolf over these last couple of laps. Keep an eye on that gap though, as it's been ebbing and flowing a little bit. Yeah, Rocco a tenth quicker on that previous lap just there. Recco Vantage now within a couple of seconds of Edis Allcom, so Recco continuing to come back through the pack, continuing to pick him off throughout the course of this race. PS Vids running 4 seconds behind Recco Vantage in 9th place, 3 seconds further back to Calm Mete, and Orange Rally with 5 seconds off of Calm Mete, off of a top 10 spot here in this race. A third of the way into this race, pit window will be opening in 5 minutes time, so we're nearing the midpoint of this race, and still anyone's guess as to who's going to win this one. Camden's and MTL Bloodshot have been ebbing and flowing. It's been back and forth between these two. They've both made a couple of mistakes. MTL's led bits. Camden's led the first part, made the mistake coming to the first chicane. They gave the lead to MTL Bloodshot, who led for a few laps, and then he made a mistake at the same place. But MTL's not letting Camden's run off with this one, that is for sure, and I'm sure it's going to be an exciting battle all the way until the final lap, the final checkered flag here between these two. They've managed to gap Rocco a little bit over the course of this one. He's running in the final podium spot. The gap between Rocco and Slow Wolf staying at around the same, just around 2.5 seconds, although it's gone up a little bit on this lap so far. Recco Vantage has now got the gap down to 1.8 to Edis Allcom. And Nilsson's running in 5th place right now. He's 10 seconds off the back of Slow Wolf, but he got ahead of SMT Zolder a couple of laps ago, and that gap's now up at almost 5 seconds. So Nilsson's clearly got the pace here over SMT Zolder here. In terms of Orange Rally, he's still around 5, just under 5 seconds behind Calm Mete, so that gap's staying around the same. PS Vid's a long way behind Recco Vantage. He made that mistake coming through turn 3 a couple of laps ago, or turn 2 it actually is. Turn 2 he made the mistake. He was battling it out with Edis Allcom, but ended up going into the side of him and running wide onto the gravel. But let's see what PS Vids can do over the course of this one. He's only got a second back to Calm Mete, so I don't know if PS Vids might have picked up a bit of damage from that incident. Nonetheless, the gap's come down at the front. Looking at this, MTL Bloodshot's got it down to 1.8 seconds. Camden's, we know, seems to struggle through that first sector there. The Merc just doesn't seem to have much grip. The Bentley really does seem to outshine it coming through that part of the track. But Camden's, I don't know, made a couple of mistakes. Maybe his tyres are starting to go off, or potentially MTL Bloodshot is just really getting ahead of steam here. But whatever the case, MTL Bloodshot is definitely starting to bring that down here. Did we leave the music on? I think we might have done. No, we didn't. Good. Just had like this weird paranoid feeling that I'd left the music on the formation lap, but I did turn it off. Thank God for that. Gap between Edis and Recco currently just over 1 second, so it's looking like Recco Vantage will be trying to get that one done pretty soon, you would imagine. Recco Vantage, a high flyer in the GT3 class on a Wednesday night for our multi-class series. Oh, as we can see Edis there going wide there onto the gravel a little bit. But yeah, just having a little bit of a moment there through that part of the track. This is gap to MTL Bloodshot, 2.5 seconds at this point. And the gap between MTL and Rocco, 6 seconds. So MTL definitely has the pace over his championship rival here tonight. It's a case of, does he full out send it to try and really gain the points on Rocco, or does he settle for second place tonight, knowing that it's some good points in the bag and it will take the championship lead? I think he'll probably want to maximise his points gained. We saw there Camden's a little bit wide through the first chicane onto the gravel. We've seen Recco's now picked off Edis, and Edis has made a mistake because Edis is down to 9th place. He's dropped behind PS Vids, and Edis in fact has dropped behind Calm Mete here. In fact, he's only just ahead of Orange Rally, so Edis Allcom has had a massive error somewhere coming through that final sector, and Orange Rally now sensing a possible top 10 spot here, looking to the inside into turn 2, but Edis picked his braking point there nicely, but Edis has lost 3 places here. Recco now gaining another position, is now within 9 seconds of SMT Zolder, within 16 seconds of a top 5 spot. I'm sure that's going to be Recco Vantage's target here. You'd imagine he'll probably be looking at a top 5 here in this race as a potential finishing spot, but nonetheless, Cam Diz and MTL Bloodshot 2.7, the gap's just staying at the same. It's not really going up, it's not really going down. 3 seconds separating these two over the course of this first in, just under 3 seconds separating them. And Cam Diz currently looking in control of this race, but anything can happen. 3 seconds is no gap whatsoever here on ACC. A pit stop could change that, one mistake could change that, anything could change that, and MTL Bloodshot still very much in the hunt for this race win here tonight as we're approaching the pit window here at Zolder for the GT3s. Just got ahead of Edis Allcom as well, just noticing that on the timing screen there. He's up into P10. Edis obviously had a mistake a couple of laps ago, missed the trick there, or missed his window, because the pit window opened a few seconds after he went past the pit lane there. So Edis Allcom missing out on that opportunity to bring it in and get that damage repaired. So yeah, that'll obviously be a bit frustrating there for him. But nonetheless, he's on the back of Orange Rally, but Orange Rally will probably put away from him now. Orange Rally not too far off of Commentators either, running in 9th place. So there's still some very good points up for grabs for these guys. With the depleted grid, down to the fact that it's Easter today, it means that there's definitely a lot more up for grabs than there usually would be in this situation. In the meantime, Cam Diz's gap to MTL Bloodshot's come down a little bit, although MTL was a little bit wide onto the gravel there coming through turn 1. But looks as though MTL's just managed to find a bit of pace in these last couple of laps. Maybe the tyre wear starting to come into it a bit for the AMG. The Bentley kind on its tyres, very good at conserving. So at the moment, MTL looking like he's got a little bit more momentum than Cam Diz. Gap down to 1.8 between these two. MTL will surely be looking to try and get the jump. Is he going to maybe risk it on the strategy, stay on the same set of tyres, try and get these to go to the end and maybe get the jump in the pit stops down to Cam Diz? Maybe putting a new set of tyres on, who knows. It definitely looks like Cam Diz's tyres are going off at a faster rate than MTL Bloodshot, so could be a potential roll of the dice here for MTL Bloodshot. But right now it's anybody's race between these two. Cam Diz driving a fantastic race as a late stand in reserve tonight, as we've got a few drivers in the pits. Nilsson in the pits, as is SMT Zolder. Reco Vantage also in, as is Khan Mete and Edis Allcom. So a lot of the drivers coming in at the first time of asking here. Cam Diz currently just coming down towards the final chicane. The gap now down to 1.3, so MTL Bloodshot's throwing a kitchen sink here at Cam Diz, and Cam Diz staying out for the time being, as is MTL Bloodshot. Both of these two big guns here keeping it out on the track for the time being. But this is shaping up to be an absolutely fantastic race between these two. It's been nip and tuck the whole way. These two can trade in places. It was obviously Cam Diz who qualified on pole, but then MTL had the lead after Cam Diz made a little mistake, but then MTL also made a mistake at the same place that Cam Diz made the mistake, coming through the first chicane. It wasn't actually the curb that was their undoing, it was running wide and then just going straight over the speed bumps that really cost them. As we can just see there, MTL getting massively held up by Nilsson. Not really Nilsson's fault, he's just come out of the pits, he's made his pit stop, so it's not really his doing, but MTL's lost about a second and a bit there to Cam Diz, so he'll be cursing Nilsson there, but nothing that Nilsson can really do there on cold tyres. He's just come out of the pits, he's just done his pit stop, so you know, it's just unavoidable. Unfortunately, that is sometimes the way that things go. But nonetheless, it's looking like a cracker here between these two. Rocco still yet to pit, as is Slow Wolf, PS Vids and Orange Rally, so the top 6 still yet to pit. The rest of them have all been in to make their mandatory pit stops. Nilsson's come out ahead of Khan Mete. Reco Vantage within a couple of seconds of Khan Mete. SMT Zoloba's lost out quite a bit in the pits. He's behind all of those guys now. He's down to P10. Edis Allcom running at the back 7 seconds behind Zoloba, but Zoloba has lost out enormously in the pit window here tonight. Cam stays out, MTL Bloodshot into the pits, so MTL Bloodshot from P2 in this race, bringing it in. Does Rocco come in? No heat. Rocco stays out for the time being then. But Rocco's just been on the fringes of the leaders. He's only 7 seconds off of the lead. We're halfway into this race. He's not too far away. if Camdiz, MTL were to trip over each other, make a mistake, or if these two were to have a disaster with the strategy, Rocco's going to be there. He will be on hand, ready to deliver the knockout blow. Rocco's not out of this by any stretch of imagination. He's still in touching distance, although having said that, it's unlikely that he's going to do it on pace tonight. Slow Wolf at 3.5 seconds behind Rocco, so he's not too far away either. MTL into the pits right now to get that pit stop done and out of the way, as we're almost halfway through the pit window here. Still 5 minutes for these guys to come in. PS Fids and Orange Rally both staying out for the time being. MTL the only driver to pit on this particular lap 19 of the race. Camdiz still leading, having led this race since MTL made the mistake a few laps ago. MTL closed the gap to him before the pit window, but the gap was around 2 seconds as MTL boxed, and MTL will be hoping to try and get the jump here on Camdiz throughout this pit window. Camdiz can come in any time between now and the next 5 minutes. He could theoretically stay out for another 3 laps if he wanted to, or is he going to try and cover Camdiz off as soon as he... is he going to try and... He is Camdiz. Is he going to try and cover off MTL Bloodshot at the soonest possible moment? As here comes Camdiz into the final chicane, staying out for the time being then. MTL Bloodshot is out and away. He's coming through turn 3 at this point. Camdiz coming over the line to start lap 21 of the race, and Rocco has just hit the pit wall on entry. Rocco's been... No, it's not him that's been done for speeding, it's SMT Zolder who's picked up a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. And Rocco, we just saw him there going into the pit wall a little bit. Has that given a bit of damage maybe that he's going to have to repair? That could potentially give Slow Wolf the opportunity to finish on the podium here. Slow Wolf in contention there. That might give Slow Wolf the P3 in this race. We'll have to see what Rocco has to do in the pit box, if he's going to have to undergo some damage repairs there. Hopefully he won't be in there for too long getting that sorted out. MTL Bloodshot out there at the moment, coming through the second chicane, coming out the exit of the second chicane. Camdiz, your race leader, can come in this lap or the next. He doesn't need to come in just yet. And SMT Zolder has got the drive-through, which he's going to have to serve at some point over the next couple of laps then. Slow Wolf into the pits behind Rocco. The question is, does Slow Wolf get the jump on Rocco, with Rocco maybe having to undergo damage repairs due to just tagging the pit wall a little bit there as he came in? Hopefully he didn't speed in the pit lane, because that will just add insult to injury for the damage that he possibly incurred there. Hopefully there's not any issues with that one. Camdiz coming through the final few corners of the lap. That's Nilsson there in the background of your shot. That's not Camdiz. Nilsson is just coming through the penultimate corner. Camdiz is coming up towards the final chicane. Does he box this lap? Yes, he does. Camdiz is now in. So now is the moment. Oh, as Camdiz does the same thing there, exactly the same thing that Rocco did, but didn't really hit the wall with as much zest. Didn't really hit it with as much oomph as MTL did, but into the pits comes Camdiz. And sorry, not MTL, as Rocco did, but MTL will be hoping he can get the jump on Camdiz. Camdiz had a couple of seconds of a gap to MTL Bloodshot when MTL came in for his stop, so now we're going to find out if Camdiz has done enough to keep ahead, or has MTL done enough to jump him. Rocco has come out ahead of Slow Wolf, so he didn't seem to need too much damage repairs there. He's actually gained on Slow Wolf during that pit stop, and he seemed to got away without speeding, so that's good stuff there for Rocco. But he's got now up to 8 seconds here, so Rocco's actually won a little bit in that pit stop battle between those two, and Rocco in a net podium position here in this race, as SMT Zolder's got 1 lap to serve his drive-through. If he doesn't serve that drive-through, there'll be hell to pay, and the consequences will become far more severe than they would have been ordinarily had he just come in and got the drive-through done and out of the way at the first time I ask him. Obviously, when you get a drive-through here on ACC, you get told, look, you know, you've got to come in for a drive-through within the next 3 laps because you've overstepped the mark, you've abused the rules in some way, shape or form, whether it be a speeding in the pit lane or whether it be track limits. Ultimately, you've overstepped the mark, and unfortunately, you know, your luck's over, unfortunately. Basically, the fun stops here. You know, you've got to come in for a drive-through, and essentially, you know, you can come in at the first time of asking, you can come in and get it done and out of the way, or you can long it out, you can just keep it going, you can think, maybe I can gain a bit of time by staying out for a bit and then coming in and getting that drive-through done. But ultimately, it's not going to go away. You've got to come in and get that drive-through done at some point. But you get the warnings flashing up on your screen if you've done track limits. You know, it's like, okay, that's one, you know, you got away with that one. However, don't push your luck here, because if you keep doing that, your luck's going to be out at some point, and you know you're going to get done for it. So just rein it in, and obviously by the time you get a third warning, that's it. You know, it's like you can't mess up from here. You know, you've got to keep it you've got to keep it within the track limits. You've got to play by the rules from that point on. But we see PS Vids coming in to make his mandatory pit stop, and SMT Zolder's coming in to get that drive-through done. The gap now between MTL, in fact MTL's jumped out Cam. MTL Bloodshot has jumped Cam into the lead of the race. That's the big news here through the pit window. MTL Bloodshot now leads the race by a couple of seconds. But did he change tyres? I think he might have changed tyres, you know, I don't know this. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he stayed on the same set of tyres. If MTL Bloodshot has not changed tyres, Camdiz will have a significant pace advantage in the last part of this race. But pit window's almost done. SMT Zoloba's gone and done that drive-through, and he is now clear to go once again. PS Vids in the box, getting that mandatory pit stop done, and once he emerges from the pits, that will be the entire grid having done their mandatory pit stop. But the gap 2.3, and MTL Bloodshot looking in control here in this race. These two have been chopping and changing for the lead of the race over the course of tonight. Camdiz qualified on pole, led the opening part of the race. MTL then took the lead off of him when Camdiz made the mistake through the first chicane. MTL then went and made the mistake through the same part of the track that Camdiz made the mistake, coming through this very corner that they're coming through now. So they both made mistakes through that part of the track, and then obviously Cam led up until the pit window. Now MTL's jumped Cam in the pit window and seems to have the ascendancy in this race. What has Camdiz got to throw at MTL Bloodshot in the final part of this race? Into the final stint here at Zolder for round 4 of the GT3s. MTL, as it stands, will be gaining big points on his championship rival Rocco, running in 3rd place. As it stands, it'll be a 10-point swing for MTL Bloodshot. It'll give him an 8-point lead in the championship standings. Paul Vidler, PS Vids there, says fuel miscalculated, race ruined. What a shame there for PS Vids. And in fact, it's not even showing up as a pit stop because he didn't put fuel in the car. It's like his pit stop never even happened. He might as well have not even bothered coming into the pits. That is as far as the game is concerned. He might as well have not even come in, because ultimately all of his hard work, all of his endeavours are undone, and that was just a massive waste there for him. As he loses the car. Oh no, he's round. Oh, PS Vids is facing the wrong way, and he goes from bad to worse here for PS Vids. His race is unravelling. His hard work, all of his effort is unravelling before his very eyes as he gets it going again. Oh no, you've got to feel for him right now. That is a massive shame there for PS Vids. And it looks like his race is falling apart here. Back to the battle for the lead right now. MTL Bloodshot's pulled out a gap to 2.6 here to Camdiz. So MTL looking like he's got this in the bag as we're coming very much in towards the second half of this race. He's got... but these two look like they're in pretty much clean air at this point. PS Vids now coming in to get that pit stop done, and does the game want to play ball this time around? Hopefully, for his sake, it does. The gap 2.3 at the front though between MTL Bloodshot and Camdiz, so it's come down, it's going up and down and seesawing around a little bit. Is this one? The PS5 server's being reset. Yes, Freeman on the ball. Legend. But PS Vids currently sat in the pits at the moment, getting that pit stop done and out of the way, albeit a little bit late now. In fact, it's out of the pit window, so it won't count as his mandatory pit stop. So PS Vids is doomed to receive a pretty hefty penalty regardless of what he does at this point. It's now too late. Oh no! Oh my goodness! Camdiz has lost it. Camdiz is spotted coming out of the first chicane, and that's going to give MTL Bloodshot a huge lead. It's going to give him comfort out of the front of this pack here, as we can see a Bentley unlapping itself there on Camdiz. Oh my goodness me! And Camdiz there with a huge mistake. That is SMT Zoloba unlapping himself there on Camdiz. Camdiz moves back through. What is the gap now though between MTL Bloodshot and Camdiz? I think this could be an unassailable gap here for Camdiz to reel in. MTL Bloodshot has now pretty much got to completely stack it into the wall to lose this race. He's got a 9-second lead at the moment over Camdiz. The gap between Camdiz and Rocco only 3 seconds. So Cam Diz, I think, managed to avoid damage there. He just spun the car, that was all it was. But if he makes another mistake, then Rocco will be on him. You can bet on that. And you see Rocco putting a lap there on SMT Zolder as well. But that is going to be absolutely so frustrating there for Cam Diz, as the gap still at 9 seconds. So MTL looking very much like he's got this one in the bag now. Cam Diz is going to be wondering what caused that to happen there. He just got a little bit heavy onto the curb, and unfortunately that was see you later, the rear of the car the rear of the car there. But Rocco within 3.5 seconds may be smelling blood here for second place, and we're minimising the gap. We're minimising the points gained by MTL Bloodshot in this round if he can get himself into second place out of Cam Diz. But Cam Diz there, little bit of a lapse of concentration. We've seen it a couple of times over the course of tonight. PS Vids has got that stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he just lets one of the front runners through. It's actually that was Recco Vantage there that he was just allowing through there. Recco Vantage continuing on his way, but PS Vids into the pits once again. He's been in and out of that pit lane like no tomorrow tonight, and you've got to feel for him, you really have. That is such a shame there for him. Lazy Camel saying in the comments, evening guys, good luck all, go Nilsson, looking good. He is the Lazy Camel, he's been doing a really good job tonight as Nilsson. He's only 6 seconds behind Slow Wolf, running in P5. Some really good points here for Nilsson tonight. He's absolutely taken to Zolder, well, I'd say like a duck to water. I mean, he's driven here before, he knows his way around this track. But yeah, Nilsson, he's within, you know, he's over a course of 40 minutes, he's keeping it within 20-25 seconds of the race leader. So, you know, he's on the pace, he's got a decent skill level around this track. So well done to Nilsson here. He has absolutely done a fantastic job. He's not too far off a podium here, he's only about 10 seconds off of a podium, so who knows now. Paul Vidler there, PS Vids, saying in the comments, head's gone now. I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. I do. You got to feel for PS Vids right now, because his race has just gone from one crushing blow to another. And has he got another stop-go penalty? I'm not sure. Has he actually officially left the pits yet? No. I think he's got another stop-go penalty here. And the thing is, once you get one penalty, it's like, you know, one injustice leads to another, and it's like it just keeps on racking up, and you just want to stay out of that vicious cycle in the first place, ideally. But you know, if you get into it, it's a nightmare to control. But PS Vids now, he just needs to take a deep breath, come in at the end of this lap, get it slow down on the limit. End of this lap, your problems can be sorted out. PS Vids, end of this lap, just keep it calm on the pit entry and enjoy the rest of this race. Get some laps in, log some lap times, see what you can do, come away from it with your head held high a little bit, knowing what you did wrong, knowing what could have been improved on. Just get yourself in the pits and then get yourself back out and just log some laps. Use this as a practice session, use it as a test session. Trust me, it will work out. You'll be feeling the benefits of it. You'll be glad you carried on and stuck it out to the end. I promise you. Because some good points as well. But yeah, massively unlucky there for you tonight. We got SMT Zolder currently 3 seconds off the back of Edis Allcom. These two pretty close in the battle for 9th place. Gap at the front between MTL Bloodshot and Cam Diz continuing to come down a bit. Cam Diz has now got it down to 7.6, and he's on the back of one of the back markers here. As Carl Mete there moving aside for Cam Diz to put a lap on him. But Cam Diz on a bit of a charge here. He's gained 2 seconds in the last 3 laps, so he's gaining about 6/10 a lap here. And if he gains 6/10 a lap for what's probably going to be, I'd say, 12 more laps or so, I reckon. About 12 more laps we're going to have here. Then, you know, it could be very much on the cards for him to be on MTL Bloodshot by the time he gets to the end of this race. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but I reckon we could see a bit of a battle here. All it would take is one little mistake from MTL Bloodshot, and Cam Diz is right back in this fight for the race win. He's got to absolutely push as like his life depends on it now. That's the thing for Cam Diz. He can't hold back, so he's going to be more prone to making mistakes. And you know, it could be, all it's going to take now is one little mistake, and that's it. You know, he could be in the barriers, because he's going to be absolutely ragging that Mercedes AMG round like no tomorrow. Gap between Cam Diz and Rocco 7 seconds, so Cam Diz is definitely got the pace over Rocco, but we know that he's no stranger to a mistake here at Zolder tonight. Rocco running in third place has got a bit of a gap back to Slow Wolf. PS4 has now got that stop-go done, so he's now back out on the track again and can now just focus on doing a bit of testing here, getting the best out of that Aston Martin, and just seeing what his potential is around this track. In the meantime, Candice has gained another half a second through MTL Bloodshot in that first sector alone. So just through that part of the track, he is continuing to gain massive amounts of time here. SMT's over within 2 seconds of Edith Allcom. That gap's continuing to come down as well. But MTL coming through the penultimate corner right now. There's Cam Diz running in second place, and he's gained another 4/10 coming through the middle sector. So Cam Diz is absolutely on a charge here. Maybe MTL taking it a little bit easy out the front, knows he's got a gap, knows he doesn't have to push too much, and he just wants to bring this one home. Or is he just resting on his laurels? Maybe Cam Diz has got some seriously strong pace at this point. Cam Diz obviously nothing to lose now. He knows that the win's pretty much gone. He's got nothing to lose altogether really as Cam Diz, because to be fair, he's not part of this championship. He's racing as a reserve. So although you do get points nowadays, obviously with our Sim League Pro setup that we got, simleaguepro.com, big shout out Lazy Camel in the comments. simleaguepro.com is where we host our leagues, it's where we run our tables, it's where we do all of our admin stuff now. simleaguepro.com, if you've got a Sim League, you want to use them to help to organise it, then be sure to check them out. But obviously with the simleaguepro.com setup now, reserves do actually compete for points, which is a pretty cool feature that we got now. So anybody who races in any of the races will be added to the leaderboard. But so he will get points, but he's not in the championship battle, let's be real. I mean, this is his first race this season, so he's not in the championship battle. So he's got nothing to lose. Cam Diz can go hell for leather here and really pump in the lap times and try and bring that gap down to MTL Bloodshot. Still a little way left to go here in this race. It's still race on between these guys, as Slow Wolf's now dropped well off of Rocco. The gap's now 17 seconds between Rocco and Slow Wolf. What's the gap between Slow Wolf and Nilsson? It's 8 seconds. So Nilsson not out of this fight for 4th place here. I think he's out at the battle for the podium spots. Rocco's now absolutely miles ahead of him in 3rd place. But definitely don't count out Nilsson for a 4th place here in this race. If Slow Wolf makes a mistake, if he has a bit of damage, then who knows what might happen. SMT Zaloba's closing in on Carl Mete, and Edith Allcom is closing in on both of them here. So this battle for 8th, 9th and 10th could be getting a little bit heated in the closing laps of this race. And gaps continuing to come down between MTL Bloodshot and Cam Diz, as MTL Bloodshot there just putting a lap there on Orange Rally coming through turn 3. And yeah, you can see there Cam Diz just coming around turn 3 now, so that is the gap between 1st and 2nd place at the moment, obviously with the lap car of Orange Rally in between them at this point. But yeah, certainly all to play for here tonight. Looking at the battle here for 8th and 9th places, SMT Zaloba's looking to the outside of Carl Mete. Can he make this kill and go around the outside here? Carl Mete defending that inside line. Wily defensive driving there from Carl Mete. SMT Zaloba with no way round. Edith's not too far for these guys. If these two trip over each other, it could mean Edith might be fancying his chances here for an 8th place. But down the start finish straight we come here to start lap 32 for these guys. Or lap 31 I believe for them actually. And it's still Carl Mete keeping ahead of SMT. SMT looking to the inside into turn 2. Can't make that one work though. He's going to have to wake up early in the morning if he wants to pull that one on Carl Mete. Carl Mete leaving the door slightly open there through turn 3. Nothing doing there as we come into 4 now. If SMT SMT Zolder can get a good run coming out of this part, he might be able to throw on down the, he's going to look to the outside here coming towards the first chicane. Here goes SMT Zolder. Can he make this one stick around the outside? Commentators will try and go late on the brakes, fully in towards the chicane, tags the curb on the inside, and he just runs over the curb there to SMT Zolder. He's going to have to give that one back, I think. He's not. He's continuing on his way there. So SMT Zolder there gaining the position off the track. And it looks like he's got away with that one from the race director, but potentially one that we could be looking at there. And that could be an incident that we will have to sort out later on, because SMT Zolder definitely made that move off the track, and Commentators there is going to be frustrated, running a bit wide there onto the grass. Could maybe invite Edis Allcom into a potential taking of 9th place here in this one, but SMT Zolder a little bit naughty there. That one was caught on camera. That one you caught red-handed there, Sunshine. Can't really deny that one. Unfortunately, your plausible deniability is not forthcoming there. 10 people currently watching the stream. Guys, if you like what you see, please do drop a like on the video. You can get 10 likes on the stream. That would be absolutely awesome. If you want to get involved, go to www.motiveracing.com, join the Discord. As we can see, Commentators once again defending to the inside there into turn 1. SMT Zolder now looking to the catback though, and he's going to get that one. He's going to absolutely sucker him there. And Edis behind these guys watching this one, but well, good move there from SMT Zolder, and he manages to get that one done properly there on Commentators, so that was beautifully done. And SMT Zolder now well and truly up into 8th place. Gap down to 4 seconds at the front between MTL Bloodshot and Cam Diz, so this is so tight now between these. SMT Zolder now starting to break away a little bit from Commentators and Edis since getting ahead of Commentators. But Calm might have his hands full of Edis in a moment, because Edis is bringing the gap down. Gap now under 4 seconds between MTL Bloodshot and Cam Diz. That one is one we're going to watch out for, because Cam Diz seems to have the pace in the last part of this race. I think it's pretty clear now that Cam Diz changed his tyres and MTL Bloodshot didn't, because Cam Diz has got so much pace over him at this stage. He really is gaining hand over fist at this point. Between Commentators and Edis, 1.4 gap between the two, there's 3.6. Zolder's pulling away from Commentators and Edis at this stage in the race. Definitely looks like he's got that one covered for 8th place. MTL coming through the final chicane, closing laps here at Zolder. MTL Bloodshot has had this one in the bag for the final part of this race, but Cam Diz on fresher tyres is coming before him. Made a mistake, did Cam Diz. The gap was a couple of seconds when Cam Diz made a mistake. It dropped back to 9 seconds, so he lost about 7 seconds with a spin just after the pit window. Last 15 minutes, last sort of like 10 laps or so, Cam Diz has been pumping in qualifying laps, lap after lap after lap, and has been bringing that gap down. He's brought it down from 9 seconds down to 3 seconds. Cam Diz could be on the verge of potentially taking a reserve victory tonight, but MTL Bloodshot, who will be the championship leader after this round, looking to maximise the points gained on his championship rival Rocco, running in 3rd place. Rocco came into this one leading the championship by 2 points. Let's get the standings up on the screen so that we can give some kind of idea. So Rocco leads the way on 156. That's Lutch's MTL Bloodshot in second on 154 points, so just 2 points separating them. As it stands in this race, MTL Bloodshot would gain 10 points on him, and the gap will be 8 points in the championship in favour of MTL Bloodshot. This man here coming through the penultimate corner, but the gap's now really coming down to Cam Diz. Look at that, you can see it's now down at just over 2 seconds. Nothing separating these guys at all. This is now oh so tight between these top two. But yeah, as it stands in this race, MTL would have the lead by 8 points, but if Camdiz were to win the race, it would only be 3 points between the two of them going into the final 2 races of the season. Obviously this week is Zolder round 4, rounds 5 and 6 coming up. After this it will be Barcelona next week at Circuit de Catalunya, and the final round of the season will be at the Nürburgring to round off season 7, I think, here on ACC. It could be wrong. I think it's season 7. I believe it's season 7. Yeah, right now the gap 2.3. Yeah, it's season 7. I lose track, honestly. I really do lose track. But right now, Carmete is Allcom separated by just under 2 seconds, as we've got 5 minutes left to go here in this race. Say while we're here, guys, a big thank you to everybody on the stream right now. If anybody's enjoying, or if you are enjoying, please do drop a like on the video. Let's get this video to 10 likes if we can before we get off air. That would be absolutely awesome if we can get it to 15 likes after the stream, possibly even 20 maybe, who knows. But yeah, guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to get involved, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. get yourselves involved in some free sim racing action. They're just putting a lap on Orange Rally coming through turn 1. Rocco running in P3, best of the rest tonight. Didn't have the pace of the 2 leaders, MTL and Camdiz. The gap between the 2 leaders, MTL and Camdiz, is now under 1 second, and those fresh tyres there for Camdiz now really starting to pay dividends. I tell you what, it's going to be closest to whether we have 2 or 3 more laps here. It's going to all depend on what the timer is at as we're coming round to complete this lap that we're currently on. But MTL clinging on for dear life, and he'll be hoping that we have as fewer laps as possible between now and the end of the race. But I think we're going to have 3 more laps here at Zolder for the GT3s, round 4 of the season. MTL Bloodshot will take the championship lead as long as he finishes ahead of Rocco here in this race. Gap was 2 points in Rocco's favour coming into this one, but MTL as it stands would come away with from this round with an 8-point lead. If Camdiz were to take the win, it would be a 3-point lead instead of an 8-point lead. As these two coming out onto the start finish straight here. So we have got 3 laps left to go at Zolder. It's going to be a 40-lap race altogether. And MTL Bloodshot doing what he has to do at the moment, but Camdiz on the fresher tyres, despite a couple of mistakes, is hunting him down here in the final part of this race. Reminiscent of a Lightblade battle what I've seen before. A Lightblade at many a time, if he's watching, I don't know if he is, regular commenter, big fan of Motive. It's reminiscent right now. Camdiz's drive right now reminiscent of a Lightblade drive, the kind of drive where he's got severely strong pace. A couple of mistakes here and there might knock him back. He might try and start from the back or something, but so many times I've seen Lightblade running in second place in a race, and he's been chasing down the leader, and he's been hassling them and trying to force them into a mistake. And MTL Bloodshot currently the hunted right now, but Camdiz doing the Lightblade tactic right now, just on the back of him, trying to force him into a mistake, not going for any rash or reckless manoeuvres, just waiting patiently for the opportunity. But MTL clinging on for dear life at the moment at the front. Camdiz though is waiting for the mistake. 0.8 of a second between these two, coming down towards the final chicane. Just over 2 laps left to go. They've got some traffic in the distance. I don't think they're going to get to it before we get to the end though. With just 2 laps left, I don't think they're going to be able to gain that much time on whoever that is up ahead of them. It's Recco Vantage. Recco Vantage is a solid driver. I don't think they're going to have 5-10 seconds a lap on him, so I don't think they're going to reach him before we get to the end. But 2 to go here at Zolder. 0.7 of a second the gap between MTL and Camdiz. Cam knows 1 mistake from MTL and it's going to be the win for him, so he just needs to sit there and wait and hope that MTL makes a mistake. It's all down to how cool can MTL Bloodshot keep it here. MTL Bloodshot second in the championship coming into this one, as we said before, will take the championship lead almost certainly after this race with his championship rival down in third place, Rocco. The question is, what is the gap going to be coming away from Zolder? It will be 8 points if MTL can take the win. It'll be 3 points if Camdiz can mug him here at the end of the race. But a lap and a half left to go. Blue flags are being waved for some back markers, not sure who, because they're absolutely nowhere near Echo Vantage at this point. But Camdiz now right up the chop here of MTL Bloodshot, looking underneath him, looking for any possible route through here up into the lead of the race. He's almost underneath that car. He's almost inside of that Bentley here as the AMG looks to the inside into the penultimate corner, looking back around the outside. MTL Bloodshot covering off any eventualities here, looking to just back Camdiz into a corner here, leave him with absolutely nowhere to go, no wriggle room. Down towards the final chicane they come. Once again, MTL just taking a slightly defensive line. Beautiful there, coming through the middle part of the corner and gets a good exit as well. Camdiz, a little bit of a twitch there coming out of the last corner. That would have compromised his run ever so slightly and would have probably just ruined his chances of getting the run into turn one. Has a little feint to the inside, does Camdiz. He knows this is his last opportunity. This is now the big moment here. What can Camdiz do? Can he pile the pressure on and get this one done here on MTL Bloodshot? MTL Bloodshot's just going to keep it clean for one more lap here. Camdiz on the attack, goes a bit wide there, coming through turn on the exit of turn two though. Here we come through three. MTL Bloodshot taking a slight defensive line in towards turn four, and this is now going to be the biggest opportunity here for Camdiz to make an overtake. He gets a good run coming through this part of the track. MTL Bloodshot's just going to park his car on the inside under the Yokohama Bridge. Down we come towards the first chicane. This is the first of two real big opportunities here for Camdiz to make this done. He's not going to get it through there. MTL gets it nicely negotiated through there, but here's the opportunity for Camdiz. This is going to be his big chance to send one down the inside. He's pretty close here. We come into the second chicane. He has a little look. He thinks about it. He thinks better of it because MTL Bloodshot just breaks late enough to cover onto that one. MTL Bloodshot, I think, has done enough. Camdiz wide coming on the second chicane. Oh my goodness me, he almost goes into the barriers there. He just about keeps it on the road, but that's going to be his opportunity done. And MTL Bloodshot has weathered that storm brilliantly here. Great driving for MTL Bloodshot tonight. He's kept his cool, he's kept his composure there under tremendous pressure from Camdiz. You can see Recco Vantage in the distance there. They're not going to reach him before we get to the checkered flag though, but MTL Bloodshot in towards the final chicane is going to take another win here at Motive in the GT3s here on the PS4. Great driving from MTL Bloodshot tonight. He's going to extend the gap. He's going to, take the lead of the championship over Rocco. He's going to have an 8-point gap going into next week at Barcelona. Congratulations MTL Bloodshot. What a drive and brilliant composure. Coolness personified at the end of that one. MTL Bloodshot takes the win ahead of Camdiz in second place. Rocco, the championship coming into this round, will be second going into the penultimate round of the season next week at Barcelona. 8 points separating the two championship contenders in favour of MTL Bloodshot. Rocco comes over to take third place here in this one. Slow Wolf a long way behind Rocco in fourth place. Going to keep an eye out for any lap cars coming round to finish the race. PS Vids coming through the final sector. Orange Rally's finished the race in 7th place. Zolder coming up towards the line will finish in 8th. Carmete and Edis. In fact, Carmete has just been... Edis has just been lapped there by Nilsson. And Carmete coming into the final chicane. As we see, Rocco has finished the race in third place. Slow Wolf there in P4 crosses over the line. So good points there for, well, he's a reserve, but nonetheless, good points there for him. Carmete takes 9th place and finishes just in front of PS Vids there, who finishes in 11th, a lap down on Carmete. Nilsson, where's Nilsson? Up towards the line, he comes to take 5th place. Edis Alcon finishes in 10th, and Recco not too far behind Nilsson here. Will finish the race in P6 and will be the last driver to finish the race. 1 lap down on the leader MTL Bloodshot. So here comes Recco Vantage up towards the line to get some decent points in the bag. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for round 4 of the GT3s here at Motive on the PS4. MTL Bloodshot taking the win and taking the championship lead by 8 points going into the next round here. Camdiz taking second place. Great job as a reserve tonight, taking points off of Rocco, the other championship contender, who finishes in 3rd place. Big thank you to everybody who joined us live on the stream. Guys, don't go anywhere. Join us in a few minutes. We'll be live for the PS5 GT3 Championship. We'll be live from Spa-Francorchamps for that one. Always great action from Spa, one of the most exciting tracks on the calendar. So join us in around 15-20 minutes time. We'll be live for that very, very shortly. From us, it's see you in a moment.
American